believe he did what he did. I thought
Carmen and Bailey, we're here, the circuit.
The Pat McAfee Show just threw up the wrist for Shedeur Sanders, a gesture of respect and recognition that instantly lit up the NFL conversation. Analysts across the league are already labeling his preseason debut as one of the most impressive rookie showcases they've ever witnessed. Before we dive deeper, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a second of this unfolding QB drama. It wasn't just hype. It felt like the official announcement of his arrival on football's biggest stage. Yet beneath all the celebration and admiration, there's an undercurrent of tension that could change everything. While fans and media outlets are busy applauding Sanders for his poise, accuracy, and presence, there's a growing controversy unfolding behind the scenes that might threaten his meteoric rise. Former NFL quarterback turned analyst Dan Orlovsky is among the loudest voices advocating for Sanders. Orlovsky isn't just tossing out casual praise, he's practically pleading with the Cleveland Browns to give the young quarterback more meaningful opportunities. His argument is simple. When a rookie performs the way Sanders did, the response shouldn't be hesitation, it should be acceleration. Instead, what insiders are hearing from within the organization suggests something much different. Whispers indicate the Browns could actually be preparing to reduce his reps, a move that would shock the football world after such a standout debut. The implications are massive. What Cleveland decides to do in the coming weeks will determine not only Sanders' trajectory, but potentially the team's future at the quarterback position. A decision to nurture and invest in his growth could launch a new franchise cornerstone, but a choice to minimize his role could crush momentum before it has the chance to grow. For a fan base long starved of consistency at quarterback, the stakes could not be higher. Shedeur's performance wasn't just good, it was commanding. In his very first taste of NFL competition, he displayed qualities that usually take years to develop. Watching him run the offense, you could see his confidence radiate with every snap. He wasn't rattled by pressure. He wasn't overwhelmed by the moment. He looked like he belonged. What truly separated him from most rookies wasn't the stat line, but the way he carried himself, the way he communicated, and the way he inspired trust from teammates who had only just begun working with him. Dan Orlovsky, speaking passionately on the Pat McAfee Show, couldn't hold back his admiration. He emphasized that Shedeur wasn't just surviving out there, he was orchestrating. From reading defenses at the line to signaling adjustments for receivers to calming the huddle after penalties, he carried himself with a maturity that is almost unheard of for a first-year player. Orlovsky explained that Sanders didn't look like a rookie thrown into the deep end. He looked like a conductor, managing the chaos of the game with precision and clarity. Orlovsky's praise wasn't limited to broad compliments. He highlighted specific moments from the game that revealed Sanders' intelligence and composure. Whether it was shifting protections to pick up a blitz, gesturing to receivers about their routes, or keeping his teammates engaged after a stalled drive, Sanders showed leadership traits that coaches dream about. To see such composure in a debut performance set off alarm bells of excitement for analysts, fans, and former players alike. That excitement quickly spread to McAfee's own crew, who punctuated their approval by throwing up the wrist, a cultural signal that Sanders had officially arrived on the national stage. In an instant, the conversation shifted from whether Sanders belonged in the NFL to how quickly the Browns could afford to get him more experience with first-team reps. But here's where the story takes an unexpected and frustrating twist. Despite all the enthusiasm, the Browns organization appears hesitant. Instead of rewarding Sanders' breakout with more opportunities, reports suggest his snaps could be split or even reduced. To outsiders, this feels backward. Why stall momentum after one of the most exciting debuts in recent memory? Yet for those who have followed the NFL long enough, this is a familiar script. Performance on the field doesn't always align with decisions made in the front office. This isn't a debate about whether Joe Flacco is the starter. That role is secure. Flacco, with his Super Bowl experience and steady veteran presence, has earned the Week 1 job. But the intrigue lies deeper in the quarterback room, specifically in the battle for the backup position. With Kenny Pickett sidelined, the competition has narrowed to Sanders and Dillon Gabriel. On paper and in practice, it shouldn't be close. Sanders has displayed the poise, decision-making, and execution that teams crave. Gabriel, while talented, has not shown the same command. Still, the NFL is rarely a pure meritocracy. Politics and draft capital often outweigh actual performance. Gabriel was a third-round pick, and organizations tend to protect their investments, sometimes at the expense of players who have clearly earned more. This is the crux of Cleveland's so-called agenda, a strategy that prioritizes internal optics and draft validation over simply rewarding results. And it's precisely why local media, analysts, and fans are so frustrated. Behind the curtain of Berea's practice facility, a tension you could cut with a knife hangs in the air. For years, Cleveland has been a franchise known for instability, from coaching changes to quarterback carousels. But this latest episode feels different. It's not just about winning or losing anymore, it's about trust. When Shedeur Sanders went down, the one thing everyone wanted was clarity, and that clarity never came. Players inside the locker room are starting to whisper, not just about Stefanski's play calling, but about whether he truly has their back. Veteran leaders, the ones who typically echo the head coach's message, have grown quiet. That silence says more than any speech could. Some are frustrated, others are confused, and a growing number are simply waiting to see whether Stefanski makes the next move or if ownership forces his hand. And make no mistake, the Haslams are watching. Ownership has never been shy about pulling the trigger when things go south. And according to insiders, they're furious. They see Shedeur not just as a quarterback, but as a generational opportunity, a player who could finally stabilize a franchise that's lived in chaos for decades. For Stefanski to mishandle that, even in perception, feels like betrayal. Fans, too, are split. Social media is ablaze with debates. Some defend Stefanski, arguing that the injury wasn't his fault and that football is, by nature, brutal and unpredictable. Others say the exact opposite, that Stefanski exposed Sanders unnecessarily, pushing him too hard in meaningless reps when the team should have been protecting their prized rookie. The city of Cleveland, starved for consistency and desperate for a savior at quarterback, now finds itself eating itself alive with speculation and finger-pointing. This isn't just about football, it's about image, leadership, and credibility. Stefanski was supposed to be the steady hand, the calm leader in a storm. But right now, the storm seems to be swallowing him whole. The Browns' season hasn't even properly begun, and already their trajectory feels like it's hanging in the balance. But the drama doesn't stop with ownership's frustration or Stefanski's stubbornness. Behind closed doors, some of the Browns' most trusted veterans are quietly voicing concerns. Sources close to the locker room have suggested that players are starting to feel the ripple effects of this chaos. When the leader of your team, your quarterback, suffers an injury that many believe could have been avoided with better management, it's only natural for doubts to creep in. Doubts not just about Stefanski's decision-making, but about whether this franchise truly knows how to protect its future. And that's where Shedeur Sanders' story becomes more than just a storyline. It becomes the defining chapter of the Browns' entire season. This isn't just any rookie quarterback. This is the son of Coach Prime, the player who carries both the weight of expectation and the spotlight of media hype. For Cleveland fans desperate for a savior at the quarterback position, Shedeur represented hope. A fresh start, a chance to finally move beyond years of mediocrity and heartbreak. Now, that hope feels shaken. Every time Shedeur's name comes up, fans aren't talking about his laser-accurate throws or his calm pocket presence. They're talking about whether the organization just risked his future. And that conversation is growing louder by the day. Sports talk radio, national media, and social platforms are all buzzing with one question. Did Kevin Stefanski just jeopardize the future of the Cleveland Browns? To make matters worse, the rest of the AFC North isn't slowing down. The Ravens are surging, the Bengals look strong, and even the Steelers seem to have found their rhythm. Cleveland can't afford distractions right now, but instead of focusing on game plans and playoff pushes, they're stuck in a cycle of finger-pointing and damage control. The timing couldn't be worse, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Because here's the truth. If the Browns collapse this season, ownership won't hesitate to hit the reset button. And in today's NFL, that button gets pushed fast. Coaches, executives, even longtime staff members, no one is safe when frustration boils over. Stefanski may be the man under fire right now, but this storm could swallow more than just the head coach if things don't change quickly. The Browns' season now hangs in the balance, teetering between redemption and collapse. If Stefanski somehow pulls this team together, navigates the storm, and turns Sanders' development into a success story, he could cement his legacy in Cleveland. But if the chaos continues, ownership may decide it's time to clean house, bringing in a new coaching staff to build around their young quarterback. The NFL is ruthless in this regard. Patience is rare, and results are demanded quickly, especially when the franchise is investing millions in a potential star quarterback. Shedeur Sanders, for his part, remains composed despite the media circus. Those close to him describe him as laser-focused, blocking out distractions and keeping his attention squarely on football. That mindset is crucial because the last thing the Browns need is a rookie quarterback overwhelmed by off-field drama. Sanders has been through pressure before, playing under the spotlight of being Deion Sanders' son and facing doubters at every stage of his career. Now in Cleveland, he faces the ultimate test, proving he belongs on an NFL field and that the hype wasn't misplaced. Cleveland's fan base is watching every move with bated breath. For a city starved of football glory, Sanders represents more than just a player. He's hope. Hope that the Browns can finally stabilize at quarterback after years of painful turnover. Hope that the team can rise above dysfunction and become a consistent contender. And hope that all the chaos off the field doesn't derail what could be the most promising era in decades. The front office drama, Stefanski's uncertain future, and the scrutiny surrounding Sanders' health and progress all create a volatile mix. This season could either be remembered as the turning point that finally brought stability, or as another entry in Cleveland's long history of heartbreak. And that's what makes this story so compelling. Every practice rep, every press conference, every game will be magnified, dissected, and debated by fans and analysts alike. For now, the Browns sit at a crossroads. Will Stefanski silence the critics and prove he's the right man to guide Sanders into NFL stardom? Or will ownership decide that a change is necessary to protect their investment in the rookie quarterback? The answer could define not just Stefanski's career, but the trajectory of the entire Cleveland Browns franchise. One thing is certain. As the storm clouds gather, all eyes remain on Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski. The drama in Cleveland is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be even more explosive. So don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin.